What am I missing here? What happened? What changed? I never heard this term bad faith 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. What happened? Everyone's talking about bad faith and Boomer Adam doesn't know what it means. Well, nobody ever calls you bad faith though. Yeah, I get called bad faith all the time because I am mean. It's a huge difference being dishonest and being fucking mean. Okay, I'm mean when people, duck and dive and subvert and don't answer questions and
right.
It pisses me off. Yes, I get mean. My thinking on this though, is that I'm curious what other people are thinking too. So if we clip it out and we post it as like, what is bad faith?
Let us know in the comments below what you think about bad faith.
Well, you don't have to make it totally gay, okay? You don't.
Anyway, what are we starting with today?
Do you want to do a story first? I guess we should do a story first because when we get into super chats, we don't do. Let's do your story first. Unless you want to talk about the bad faith.
No, let's do one of your stories first.
Okay.
We'll do one of my stories later.
So, CT, we are officially going to start talking about the bad faith thing. Right? So what is it's the latest thing. All the kids are talking about it. I'm reading about it in every other comment. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 times in one comment. Sitch, what am I missing here? What happened? What changed? I never heard this term bad faith 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. What happened? Everyone's talking about bad faith and Boomer Adam doesn't know what it means. I feel like it might mean you're lying or you're being dishonest. But I'm not. Why don't they just say you're a goddamn liar? That's what I would say.
I'm confused. So in the debate, did you accuse someone of acting in bad faith?
I would never.
And then did people say, Adam, you're incorrectly calling them out? Like, I don't know what you're referencing here.
First of all, at one time, one time in my entire internet career, I called Sargon bad faith when he was on the show. And I immediately regretted it. I should have never done it. I should have never said it because it completely changed the dynamic of the debate. And I don't think anyone, Spoon was throwing insults. He probably said it 4 or 5 times and I didn't even notice. But I don't think anyone in the debate said bad faith. But 50% of the comments, people are talking about bad faith. And they're specifically accusing me of bad faith. Now, was I bad faith in the debate? I don't remember being bad faith. Well, maybe that's why I'm like, what does it mean? I don't even really know.
Well, I mean, bad faith generally is when someone says something and you kind of either intentionally misunderstand or are like obtuse about what they're saying and you interpret it in the worst way possible.
Right. So it's akin to dishonesty, but it could be systemic dishonesty.
Well, the problem with the accusations with bad faith is that it's hard to tell when someone's doing it intentional or whether someone just doesn't understand what the person's saying or whether the person honestly misunderstands and thinks they are saying something horrible. I'm trying to remember it in the debate. I don't remember any moments where I felt like anyone was really intentionally misrepresenting anyone's opinion at any point in time.
Right. Yes.
Was there something specific that people were calling you out for bad faith?
And not.
Or is it just a general kind of...
nobody ever talks in any specifics in YouTube comments. They always, Adam is bad faith here.
I don't know,
it could be an accusation of interrupting as being bad faith. I feel like when somebody is dodging a question or talking about things that are irrelevant or talking about topics that are designed to paint their interlocutors as things like Nazi apologists or sympathizers or things like that. So there was a point in the beginning of the debate, early on, that Aiden brought up the Nazi thing, which is a common thing that's going on in this debate over
which triggered you
Ukraine.
Immediately.
Which it triggered me because, first of all, I had not suspected it, to be honest with you, because it just seems it seems to be so obviously and I actually said this in the debate. It seems to be so obviously just a point of contention that's designed to poison the well in the entire dialogue. And coming from someone who has been so enthusiastically MAGA over the last few years, this was a common tactic. I mean, it still is a common tactic on the left to say, there are some conservatives that are racist, therefore all conservatives are racist. To do that same thing with Ukraine, to say there are some Ukrainians that are Nazis, therefore all Ukrainians are Nazis. It's basically the exact same argument. And I would say that argument is bad faith. Well, somebody that might be making that argument, not knowing the particulars of it, is systemically bad faith, because they're making a bad faith argument in ignorance.
To me, the Nazi argument seems completely irrelevant to the conversation, because, I mean, I don't think a single human being alive is honestly arguing that they think that Putin either A, did invade Ukraine to, quote, denazify it, or B, should be allowed to invade Ukraine to denazify it. So as I agree with you, it's entirely of poisoning the well. It's not really relevant to the conversation about why what's happening is happening at all. I don't think anyone honestly thinks it has anything to do with Putin's motivation for the war at all. So yeah, it does seem kind of not really relevant, except it's just like, I don't know, background information, or saying like, oh, it's, Ukraine has these weirdo Nazis running around and people are fine supporting them. I guess you can make some point there, but it doesn't seem wholly relevant to the situation. So
when I jumped in the debate and I said, objection, Your Honor, irrelevance, irrelevance. I expected Aiden to jump in and explain the relevance, and that kind of never happened. So
Aiden's in the chat. Hey, Aiden. Aiden says, you kind of started by calling us Putin simps and saying I was lying about my master's degree, but I didn't take it too seriously. Yeah, well, I guess.
I mean, the lying about the master's degree. What I never said that. I never ever said that. That's the way that you took it, and that happened late in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That wasn't the opening salvo.
The Putin Sims thing, like I can understand that would be considered bad faith. Just to set that up as your position when you explicitly said that Putin man bad multiple times. So sure. I mean, when looking through the comments, that seemed to be the interpretation a lot of people had as well.
That like I shouldn't have done the Putin Sims, or that they were Putin Sims.
No, that like if you're defending any part of the Russian narrative, that it means you're a Putin simp, basically. It's the interpretation. And that's generally the way these internet conversations break down. But
yes. So let's get back to bad faith.
Bad faith, yes.
I want to walk away with a clear definition of bad faith. So I just feel like people are using this term in bad faith.
Yeah, but this is the same thing like people use gaslight so incorrectly. People use the term racist so incorrectly. Like all these terms become very broadly overused. It's just the way it works.
So you just don't, it means dishonest? Is that what it means?
That's generally what, I think that's how a lot of stupid people use the term bad faith. Yeah.
Could it mean, there's another thing that came up early on in the debate where you said, this is just a fact-finding mission. Yeah. That we're going to, which, I like to live I like to have an idealist view of the world sometimes and think, that's right. Debate really is a fact-finding mission between unbiased individuals where we're going to seek out the truest understanding of the world. I feel like there wasn't a lot of togetherness in that fact-finding mission. I felt like Sitch brought up a lot of really unarguable points.
Listen, I just said that. I only said that so that for the supercut, you could start with me saying it's not going to be debate, it's going to be a fact-finding mission, and then you jump cut to us screaming at each other. Okay.
Well, that's a great.
I'm thinking ahead here. This is a comedy show, Adam.
Well, I I still don't feel like I understand what bad faith is. I still feel like if somebody says that's bad faith, I'm not even really going to have a.
Okay,
But
you
if I'm
understand,
just going with dishonest, okay.
right? You
I mean,
understand what it is supposed to mean, right? Right. You understand what it's supposed to
okay,
mean?
let's go there. What is it supposed to mean?
Like I said, when someone is intentionally misunderstand or pretending to misunderstand, but they're intentionally
Right.
like
Intentionally
twisting what
dishonest.
someone says to be the worst possible version of whatever they're saying.
Right. People do that inadvertently though.
They do.
I
They
guess the
do.
real heart of what I'm asking is I feel like the term bad faith implies intention when there really isn't intention, which is part of the problem. I
Right.
think most of the toxicity around us is involuntary toxicity just from complete morons.
Well, I mean, you could maybe you should just separate, just say, involuntary bad faith and bad faith for intentional. So.
But people aren't going to say that. They're
No,
just
of
going to
course
say
not.
bad faith, which means intentional
Right.
dishonesty. So is it okay if I categorize when someone says bad faith, if I say they mean intentional dishonesty?
I generally interpret the word to mean intentional, but yeah.
Okay, so you interpret it to mean intentional
Yeah, though, I
dishonesty.
mean, it would be useful. I mean, people might contend with that because, as you said, obviously, we watch so many videos where there is a lot of unintentional. I think most bad faith is unintentional.
Right.
It's just that, and we've been accused of this too. We're looking at some Hassan video or some Vosh video or something. And because we don't like the person, we're sort of primed to take what they're saying and have the most negative perception of it possible. And maybe they didn't mean that. So is that bad faith, even if it's unintentional? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like the term at all. And
Okay.
People are using it.
That's why we're
People are
talking about
using it right and left.
Right.
People are constantly saying bad faith. This is bad
Right.
faith. Yeah. It bugs
whatever.
me
Don't worry about
because it just seems so wrong.
Right.
You're basically calling people liars. So
Yeah,
that's
of
why
course.
I would just rather them call me a liar.
Just be specific.
You know
call
what?
Adam a liar. Be specific.
I finally found out what I like, why I dislike bad faith so much. This is why it's good to have a friend you can talk to because you could figure things out like this.
Right.
Bad faith,
yes,
is literally bad faith. It's fucking dishonestly hiding behind this term that's acceptable to say because you just can't come out and say, I think you're a goddamn liar. You can't do that because people will accuse you of crossing some imaginary line. So they hide behind this term bad faith.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
Not really.
Okay, so good. We're both on the same page.
I mean, the problem is that we get into the same problem where someone's accusing you of bad faith. They think they're not necessarily being intentionally dishonest. Everyone assumes this is the big problem. Everyone assumes everyone is being intentionally
Dishonest,
manipulative
yeah.
in these sort of internet debate conversations. When I look at it and I listen to it, and it's mostly just people's elephants rampaging. And to me, that's the exact opposite of being intentional. That's just people like being very emotional. So
yeah, people
I don't think there's a lot of intentional. There is definitely, and we've definitely had conversations with intentionally dishonest people. I don't think Aiden or Spoon are being intentionally dishonest at any point in the conversation.
I don't think so either.
And I give Aiden and Spoon a lot of credit for acknowledging lots of points that I don't think most other people, if we were having the same debate with, would ever acknowledge whatsoever. So I give them a lot
What
of
did
credit
they
for that.
acknowledge? I'm not sure they acknowledged anything. That was one of the huge complaints in the comments that they wouldn't acknowledge anything. Like you kept showing
they acknowledge
them
lots of things. They acknowledge lots of things.
Okay.
It's just like Aiden and Spoon acknowledge the context of the phone call. They acknowledge I don't remember off the top of my head the reason, but when it happened, I would make a mental note like, oh, okay, that's good. And the reason people don't recognize it is because when it's kind of funny in these debates from an optics level, people kind of have it backwards. Like you get in this debate and you're like, I can't cede a point. I can't agree with the person because then it'll make me look weak. So then they fight to the death on whatever the point is, you know, emotionally. I don't think this is like, I don't think this happens intentionally. This is just like people don't want to feel like they're wrong. They want to be embarrassed in front of a crowd of people. But in reality, the reason people don't remember when points are conceded or agreed upon is because someone just says, oh, okay. And then you just immediately move on to the next point. So everyone forgets that happened. So it's almost better if you're going to be completely cynical about like internet debating someone, it's almost better to just concede to a point or agree with them just to move on to the next thing. And the audience will just completely forget that happened like 20 seconds later.
Yeah, that's a good move. I noticed another, just on the bad faith thing, a lot of times people will say you're either ignorant or dishonest. Like those are the only two options. And I feel like people are saying bad faith to incorporate those two options, ignorant or dishonest. But I fundamentally don't.
We do that all the time though.
I don't see how you can categorize something like bad faith as ignorant.
Well, it's dishonest.
It is. I know, but bad faith, I don't see how bad faith can fall into the ignorant category.
Right. Okay.
I mean, ignorance is completely unintentional.
Okay. I agree. Okay. Was there anything else about bad faith? Or?
No, we can move on. You want to move on to CRT, or you want to do your story?
Let's do the CRT.
Okay. So I keep seeing.
We're not clipping that bad faith conversation, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Why?
If you say so.
Do you feel like it wasn't any good or something? I don't.
It was okay, I guess.
You have to listen back, okay? Well, I'm my thinking on this though.
Yes.
Is that I'm curious what other people are thinking too. So if we clip it out and we post it as like, what is bad faith?
Let us know in the comments below what you think about bad faith.
Well, you don't have to make it totally gay, okay? Do you want to throw in a like and subscribe for us? Do you want to throw in a smash that like button?
Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell.
Come on. Sitch and I are trying to experiment on how we can make other content other than 7-hour live stream. Okay.
Yes.
You don't know. People want to know what bad faith means. I think a lot of what we talk about is interesting to people because they like to argue with other people as well. So they're getting called bad faith all the time. Okay. They don't know what it means.
Right.
Maybe they do know what it means.
Right.
Do you feel like there's a good definition of bad faith out there? It sounds like you don't. Correct?
Yeah, I think there is a good definition. People just use the word incorrect.
So your definition is the correct definition?
My definition is always the correct definition, Adam. I thought we knew this.
I don't think it is. I don't think you've thought much about bad faith.
Everything I say is always right 100% of the time, even when I say I'm wrong later.
No, nobody ever calls you bad faith, though. Yeah, I get called bad faith all the time because I am mean. It's a huge difference being dishonest and being fucking mean. Okay, I'm mean when people, duck and dive and subvert and don't answer questions and shit. Right, it pisses me off. Yes, I get mean.
It's two things. It is being mean, and then the second thing is that I intentionally, when people say things, I intentionally try to only respond to what they're saying as opposed to trying to read the motivation for what they're saying. And I think that's why I avoid the bad faith label generally.
No, I think you avoid the bad faith label because you never get mean with people.
Okay, well, that's fine. I think it's very bad faith of you to say that to me right now.
I do think people are substituting bad faith for just mean, just plain mean.
Maybe.
Well, listen, who gets the... It seems like all of these contentious debates is when the bad faith moniker starts coming out.
Right.
Nobody... Well, wait. Have we been accused of bad faith in any other debate? What happened on
I'm sure we've been accused of bad faith, and we got accused of bad faith all the time.
In the Dave debate, we got totally, and we were nice.
We got accused of bad faith. We both got accused of bad faith in the Dave debate. We both got accused of bad faith in the Sargon science debate. So no, I mean it's a pretty common
so you get
label
accused
that's thrown around. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Anyway,
we are
CRT.
definitely clipping this out. Okay.
Okay.
So don't try to stop me.
Clip it all out.
You have to do better for the CRT then.
I don't think I got accused of bad faith in the no BS debate. I know he did. I don't remember getting accused of it myself, but
bad faith, I've already forgotten your definition. You mean dishonest, right? Can you just stop saying bad faith and just say dishonest? Why do you have to say this? Yeah, the Jangles debate, I did get accused. Well, but Jangles was bad faith as fuck. The only reason he wanted to have that debate is so he could lecture us.
They were both very emotionally upset at us because of our review of their debate with Sean. Mm-hmm. So they came into that with a very negative mind space. That it's funny because like I'm the type of person who, you know, I'll review someone's debate and I'll shit all over them and then I'll talk to them in person and I can just have like a completely fresh, I'll start from ground zero again just to go into the conversation because I think it's better that way. Mm-hmm. But I know that's a very unusual way of talking in these sort of setups. But
well, they weren't ripping on us for 2 hours, so I mean, it's pretty easy to reset the debate.
No, but but even if they were, mm-hmm. I would just try to be like, okay, well, let's just start from zero again in the conversation. I don't think it's particularly productive to be like, let's go through, you know, let me get out the shovel and dig up all the stuff you said, you know, it's just, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't usually care about that shit either.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Right.
I don't dwell on it.
Okay, that's good.
So let's move on to the CRT stuff.
CRT.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.